The night was quiet, too quiet for Sarah Williams. She sat alone in her daughter's room, staring at the small crib by the window. The moonlight fell softly across the empty bed, touching the tiny blanket that still carried a faint scent of lavender and baby powder. Her hands trembled as she held the knitted blanket close to her chest, pressing it against her heart as if it could bring her daughter back. The silence in that room was heavy. It was the kind of silence that screamed louder than any noise. Just a week ago, the hospital machines had stopped beeping. The doctors had done everything they could, but Emily's small heart had stopped fighting. The world hadn't ended, but for Sarah it might as well have. Every breath since that day felt borrowed, meaningless. The laughter that once filled her house was gone, replaced by echoes of memories that stabbed deeper than any blade. Sarah had always believed in logic, in science, in things that made sense. She was a nurse, a woman of reason and facts. But reason had failed her. Medicine had failed her. Humanity had failed her. And now, sitting on the floor beside the empty crib, she whispered into the dark, her voice shaking with grief. "If there's anyone out there, anyone at all, please help me, please." No one answered. Only the sound of her own sobs filled the room. Days turned into weeks. Friends tried to comfort her, but their words felt hollow. They told her time would heal her heart, but she didn't want time, she wanted her daughter. The world kept moving, people laughed, cars passed by, seasons changed. But Sarah remained frozen in that single moment of loss. One evening, as she stood outside her house watching the stars, something in her heart shifted. She remembered how Emily used to point at the night sky, giggling. "Mama, look, the stars are tiny lights from heaven." Sarah used to laugh at that. But now, staring at the same sky, she whispered back, "Then shine bright for me, my baby." The wind was cold, but there was something else in the air that night. Something strange. A streak of light moved across the sky, slow and deliberate, not like a normal shooting star. It hovered for a moment and then disappeared near the horizon. For the first time in weeks, Sarah felt something other than pain. She didn't know why, but deep inside a voice whispered, "Follow the light." She couldn't explain it, but a quiet determination began to grow inside her. Maybe it was grief or maybe it was madness, but it felt like purpose. If the doctors couldn't save Emily, maybe something beyond Earth could. She remembered reading about anomalies in the news, mysterious lights, strange portals, unexplained disappearances. Most people called them hoaxes, but Sarah had nothing left to lose. The next day she packed a small bag, water, a notebook, her daughter's photo, and the little blanket. She drove for hours toward the open fields outside Denver, where reports of an unknown light phenomenon had been circulating. The government had fenced off the area, but that didn't stop her. She parked her car far away and walked through the night, guided by the same faint glow she had seen days before. When she finally reached the field, she froze in awe. A circular shimmer pulsed in the air, a doorway made of light swirling gently like liquid glass. The grass around it bent as if pulled by invisible gravity. Her heart raced, but she didn't feel fear. Instead, she felt a strange peace, like the world itself was whispering that she had found what she was looking for. She stepped closer, clutching Emily's blanket. Her reflection shimmered on the light's surface, and for a brief second, she thought she saw a small hand reach back from the other side, a hand that looked just like her daughter's. Tears filled her eyes. "Emily," she whispered. The light pulsed in response, soft and rhythmic like a heartbeat. And in that moment, Sarah made her choice. "If I have to cross worlds to save you," she said in a trembling voice, "then that's what I'll do." Without another thought, she stepped forward. The light swallowed her whole, and the world she knew disappeared behind her. Sarah didn't know where she was going. She didn't know what waited beyond that veil of light. All she knew was that a mother's love didn't end with death. It only grew stronger. And maybe somewhere beyond the stars she could still save what she couldn't on Earth. That night, in a quiet field under a foreign sky, one grieving mother vanished from the world and began a journey that would change not just her fate, but the meaning of love itself. The world around Sarah shifted like liquid glass. She could no longer feel the ground beneath her feet, only the weightless pull of something vast and endless. Colors swirled around her, blues, silvers, golds, shapes forming and vanishing before she could understand them. Her breath caught as she floated through what felt like a dream. Then, as suddenly as it began, everything stopped. She fell hard onto the ground. The air smelled sweet, almost electric, When she opened her eyes, she wasn't in Denver anymore. Above her stretched a sky of deep violet streaked with ribbons of glowing light. The stars were closer here, huge and alive, pulsing as if they had heartbeats of their own. Around her, tall crystal trees shimmered softly, their branches humming with quiet energy. The air felt thick, almost alive, wrapping her in warmth instead of cold. Sarah stood slowly, clutching the blanket to her chest. Her heart pounded in her ears. "Where am I?" she whispered. Her voice seemed to echo, not with sound but through the air itself. And then, from the shadows between the glowing trees, shapes began to move. They were tall, taller than any human. Their skin shimmered like polished metal, changing hues with every motion. Their eyes were large, bright silver, and when they looked at her, she felt it deep inside her chest, like they weren't just seeing her face, they were reading her soul. One of them stepped forward. It didn't speak with a mouth. Instead, its voice arrived directly in her thoughts, calm and soft like a river. "You are not of our world." Sarah stumbled back, clutching the blanket tighter. Who are you?" "We are the Valorians," the voice replied. "Guardians of the Veil. No human has ever crossed through it." Sarah's breathing quickened. "Please, I didn't mean to. I need help." They tilted their heads, studying her. "Help?" Tears filled her eyes. "My daughter. She's gone. I lost her. I thought maybe someone out there, someone smarter, stronger, could bring her back." Her voice cracked as she fell to her knees. "I didn't come here to hurt anyone. I just couldn't stop hoping." The Valorians exchanged glances. Their faces didn't show emotions the way humans did, but their eyes softened, a shimmer of understanding. The one who spoke before knelt before her, its movement slow and deliberate. "You seek life where it has ended. That is beyond our control." Sarah's shoulders trembled. "Please, you have technology, knowledge. Look at this place. There must be something you can do, anything." For a moment, there was only silence. Then another voice joined, older and deeper. "What drives you to cross worlds for what is lost?" Sarah looked up, eyes red. "Love," she whispered. "Because she was my whole world. And if that world is gone, I'll find another one where she still exists, even if it kills me." The air shimmered as if the planet itself was listening. The Valorians stood quietly, their glowing forms casting gentle light around her. The leader finally spoke again. "You are different. You hold pain, but it burns bright. Humans are fragile, yet your will reaches beyond death." Sarah didn't understand their words, but she felt their tone change. Curiosity mixed with awe. One of them reached out a long, delicate hand. "Come with us. The High Circle will want to see you." She hesitated. "Are you going to hurt me?" "We do not harm. We learn." Sarah followed them through the crystal forest. The trees glowed brighter as they passed, as if reacting to her human presence. Strange creatures floated between branches, small orbs of light that sang in soft tones. The ground shimmered beneath her feet, transparent in places, revealing glowing rivers below the surface. Everything around her was beautiful, alive, and terrifyingly unknown. After what felt like hours, they reached a massive structure, a city carved from light itself. Towers of energy rose into the sky, their shapes shifting like water. Inside, the air was filled with whispers and gentle hums. They led her into a chamber where the floor reflected the stars above. In the center floated a glowing crystal, pulsating slowly like a heart. Around it stood more Valorians, each watching her silently. The leader spoke again, his voice echoing in her mind. "Human Sarah Williams, you crossed the veil by will alone. That has never been done. Why do you risk your life for what is gone?" Sarah's eyes glistened. "Because I'm a mother. And mothers don't stop fighting, not even when hope is gone." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the crystal in the center glowed brighter. A new voice filled the room, soft, ancient, and warm. "Then perhaps there is something we can learn from this human." Sarah didn't know if it was a promise or a warning, but for the first time since Emily's death, her heart felt something close to hope again. She looked up at the strange, beautiful world around her, clutching her daughter's blanket. "If there's even the smallest chance," she whispered, "I'll take it." And in that shining chamber, surrounded by beings from another world, a grieving mother's journey toward the impossible had just begun. Sarah stayed among the Valorians for what felt like weeks, though time moved strangely in their world. There were no days or nights, only the soft glow of the violet sky that changed its hue with the rhythm of their world's pulse. She had learned that the Valorians did not sleep, did not eat and did not age as humans did. They existed in perfect balance, beings of light and thought living in harmony with energy itself. They treated her with care, though they didn't fully understand her pain. To them, death was not an end, only a transformation. When a Valorian's light dimmed, their essence was absorbed by the world's core, and their knowledge became one with all. It was peaceful, beautiful even, but Sarah could not see beauty in loss. Her daughter wasn't energy, she was laughter, tiny hands, warm hugs. She couldn't accept the idea of her becoming just light. One day, the same being who had first spoken to her, Alien, came to visit her in the crystal garden where she often sat, staring into the glowing streams. His tall, luminous form cast gentle light over her tired face. "You grieve still," Alien said softly, his voice resonating in her mind. Sarah gave a faint, sad smile. "It doesn't go away. You just learn to live around it. We have no word for this pain," he said, "but we understand loss. Our world remembers everything that was. Perhaps we can help you remember too." Sarah frowned. "Remember? I already do. Every second." Alien paused, his silver eyes glowing brighter. "Not just in memory, but in presence. You said you wished to save your daughter." "What did you mean?" Sarah swallowed hard. I want her to exist again. Even if it's just her laugh, her voice. Anything that feels like her." Alien looked toward the horizon where glowing streams of energy flowed upward into the sky. "We have something. A process used for our dying. We call it the Echo Program. It allows the essence of a being to live on through memory, emotion, and energy." Sarah blinked, her heart racing. "You mean you can bring her back?" He shook his head slowly. "Not as she was. Not flesh. Not the same soul. But if you carry her deeply within you, her essence, her patterns, her thoughts, her feelings, we may be able to create an echo of what she was, a living memory." The words hit her like a storm. It wasn't resurrection, but it was something. Her voice trembled. "You can make her live through me?" "If your heart holds enough of her truth," Alien replied, "then yes." Tears rolled down Sarah's cheeks. She held the tiny blanket close to her face, breathing in the fading scent of her child. "Then do it, please, whatever it takes." Alien nodded gently. "It will not be easy. We must connect your mind to our core. The process will take from you what makes you you. It may hurt. You may lose parts of your own memories." Sarah didn't hesitate. "If that's the price to hear her laugh again, I'll pay it." That night, if it could be called night, they began the process. Sarah lay on a floating platform made of light. The Valorians gathered around her, their hands raised toward the glowing crystal above. Energy flowed down like rivers of silver, swirling around her head. Alien placed a crystalline node against her temple, and instantly, she felt her mind open, like doors she didn't know existed were being pushed wide. Flashes of her life filled the air. Laughter, birthday candles, lullabies, the sound of small feet running across the floor. The Valorians watched in awe as these memories projected into the light, painting images of a human world they had never seen. Then something began to form. In the center of the chamber, the light condensed, small at first, then shaping slowly into a glowing silhouette. Sarah gasped. It was tiny, fragile, and familiar, the outline of a little girl. The figure flickered uncertainly, and then a small, bright sound filled the air. A giggle. The same giggle that once filled Sarah's home. Her breath caught as she whispered, "Emily." The glowing child turned her head, eyes forming from pure light. "Mama?" Sarah's tears came like rain. She reached forward, but her hands passed through the light. Still warmth touched her fingers and soft, alive. She cried, not from pain this time, but from the unbearable beauty of it. Elian's voice echoed gently. "It is not her soul, but her essence, her echo, born from your love and memory." Sarah could barely speak. She's real enough." The Valorians watched silently. For the first time in their existence, they witnessed the shape of human love. Raw, endless, unexplainable. A force so powerful it reached across realities and created life from grief. The glowing child smiled and reached for Sarah again. "Don't cry, Mama, I'm here." And in that strange world of light, Sarah Williams held on to what she had thought was gone forever. Not her daughter's body, but her presence, reborn through the power of a mother's love that had crossed worlds to find her. That night, for the first time since Earth, Sarah slept, with her daughter's light curled softly beside her. Sarah woke to the gentle hum of light surrounding her. The air felt soft and warm, like the world itself was breathing. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then she saw her, the glowing child sitting beside her, humming a tune that wasn't quite human yet sounded hauntingly familiar. Sarah's breath caught. It was Emily's lullaby. The little being turned and smiled. Her eyes were made of light, but her expression carried warmth, innocence, and curiosity. "Good morning, Mama," she said, her voice a gentle echo of Sarah's lost child. Sarah's heart clenched. She wanted to cry, but she smiled instead. "Good morning, sweetheart." The Valorian stood nearby, watching in silence. Alien spoke softly, his tone curious and cautious. "She learns quickly. She is both memory and energy. You may name her if you wish." Sarah looked at the glowing child, whose soft aura flickered like candlelight. "Her name," Sarah whispered, "will be Elira." The child giggled, repeating the name. "Elira, I like it." From that moment, Elira became more than just an experiment. She became a living being. She asked questions about everything. Why do humans cry? Why do I glow? What is love? And every time Sarah answered patiently, her voice filled with both sorrow and wonder. The Valorians often gathered around to listen. They had never seen emotions expressed like this. Love, laughter, grief, comfort. For them, life was logic, knowledge, balance. But Sarah's world ran on feeling, and Elira absorbed every bit of it. One day, while Sarah and Elira sat near the glowing river, Elira placed her hand over Sarah's heart. "Why is your light smaller than mine?" she asked. Sarah smiled faintly. "Because humans don't shine like you do, sweetheart. Our light is inside," Elira tilted her head. "But I can make you shine." She pressed her glowing palm against Sarah's chest, and for a brief second warmth spread through her body. It was soft and pure, like the touch of love itself. Sarah gasped and held Elira's hand. "You already do." The Valorians began to record everything. They studied the bond between human and echo, but the more they watched, the more they stopped understanding and started feeling. They began to mimic Sarah's actions, smiling faintly when Elira laughed, lowering their tone when Sarah spoke gently. Love was spreading among them like light through crystal. Yet Sarah knew the truth. Elira wasn't truly Emily. She could laugh like her, move like her, but sometimes when she looked at Sarah, there was something else. Something otherworldly. Elira would stare at the stars and describe things no human child could know. Once she whispered, "Mama, I can hear them." Sarah frowned. "Hear who?" "The stars," Elira said softly. "They speak. They say your world is so small, but your heart is very big." Sarah didn't know what to say. She simply held her close. Weeks passed and Elira grew, not in body but in brightness and understanding. Her laughter filled the Valorian halls. Her curiosity brought smiles even to the quietest beings. But with each passing day, Sarah's body began to weaken. The atmosphere of this world was strange for humans. She would often feel dizzy or cold, her skin pale and her heart slow. Elian noticed. "Your body struggles, Sarah. You were not made for this world." Sarah tried to smile. "Then I'll stay as long as I can. I won't leave her again." Alien looked at Elira, who was playing nearby with small floating lights. "She learns from your emotions. Even your pain becomes her strength." Sarah's eyes softened. "That's what being a mother is. Giving all you have, even if it hurts." Elira ran to her, glowing hands full of shimmering petals. "Look, Mama. They sparkle like you." Sarah laughed, though tears welled in her eyes. "They're beautiful, my love. Just like you." That night, as Elira drifted to sleep beside her, Sarah whispered softly, "You're not my Emily, but you're a part of her. And a part of me. Maybe love doesn't need bodies or blood. Maybe love is just light finding new forms." Elira stirred, her voice dreamy. "Mama, do you miss home?" Sarah looked up at the violet sky. "Sometimes, but I think I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." The next morning, the Valorians gathered again. Elira's glow had grown stronger, almost radiant. She could now control small bits of energy, make objects float, and even heal cracks in the crystal floor with a touch. The Valorians called her the Bridge, a being of two worlds. And Sarah, though weaker each day, felt pride blooming inside her tired heart. Her daughter had become something beyond life, a symbol of love that even the universe had learned from. As the light of Valoria shimmered across the sky, Sarah whispered, "If my purpose was to teach this world what love means, then maybe I've already saved her." Elira opened her glowing eyes and smiled. You didn't just save me, Mama. You saved them too. Sarah held her close, her heart full and fragile. For the first time since she lost Emily, she didn't feel broken anymore. She felt whole, because her love had crossed galaxies, changed lives, and given birth to something beautiful beyond human imagination. That night, the stars of Valoria shone brighter than ever before, as if even they were smiling down on the bond between a human mother and her alien child. Time moved differently on Valoria. The sky never changed, yet Sarah could feel years passing inside her bones. The Valorians said the human body wasn't meant to survive long under their world's energy. The air was too pure, the gravity too light, the light too constant. But Sarah didn't care. Every extra day she had with Elira was worth the pain that pulsed in her heart and the fatigue that never left her. She had stopped counting days. Her only measure of time was Elira's laughter. The girl, no, the being, had grown. She no longer looked like a child of light, but something more human now. The Valorians had shaped her form, giving her soft features, gentle hands, and a smile that could melt even the cold glow of the stars. Sarah often watched her play near the crystal river, her light hair dancing like strands of gold. Elira would speak to the wind, the water, and the glowing creatures that floated in the air. She understood this world better than anyone. Yet, she still called Sarah Mama, and that word kept Sarah alive. But lately, Sarah's body was failing. Her breaths were shorter, her skin pale and thin. Even walking across the smooth floor of her chamber left her trembling. Alien noticed it before she could hide it. "Your life is fading, Sarah," he said quietly one morning. "Human cells are not stable here. You must return to your world before your light extinguishes." Sarah smiled weakly. "And leave her?" She shook her head. "I didn't cross the stars to say goodbye twice." Alien's silver eyes dimmed slightly, a Valorian sign of sorrow. "If you remain, you will cease. Not even our energy can hold you together." Elira entered the room at that moment, holding a glowing flower she had grown from pure energy. "Mama, look. It blooms when I think happy thoughts." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "It's beautiful, Elira." The child frowned, sensing something wrong. "You sound sad again." Sarah knelt slowly, pain flickering through her body. "I'm just tired, sweetheart." Elira tilted her head, glowing softly. "Then I'll make you strong. I can give you light, Mama. You gave it to me first." Sarah smiled through her tears. "Oh, my love. That's not how it works." Later that night, Sarah sat with Alien beside the great crystal spire, the heart of Valoria. She looked up at its glow and whispered, "Is there really no way to keep living here?" Alien hesitated. "Your body will not last, but your essence, your mind, can. Just as we preserved your daughter's echo, we can preserve yours. Your memories, your voice, your emotions could live forever, if you allow it." Sarah turned to him slowly. "You mean I could stay with her?" "Yes," Alien said softly. "But not as you are. You would become light, thought without body. You would no longer feel or breathe. But your essence could remain by her side, guiding her." Sarah looked down at her trembling hands. Her body had already become thin and fragile, almost transparent under Valoria's light. Maybe this was how all things ended, not in darkness, but in transformation. That night, Elira sat beside her, resting her head on Sarah's lap. "Mama, are you leaving me?" Sarah's throat tightened. She brushed her daughter's glowing hair. "No, baby, I'll never leave you. I just might change a little." Elira looked up with tears of light in her eyes. "You can't go away. I'll fix you. I'll find a way." Sarah cupped her face gently. "You already did, Elira. You fixed what was broken in here." She touched her chest right over her heart. "That's all that matters." Alien entered quietly, his voice like a whisper in the wind. "It is time. Her body grows weak. Elira held Sarah's hands tightly, refusing to let go. No, please don't take her. Sarah pulled her closer, kissing her forehead. Listen to me, my love. You are light, strong and endless. You were born from my love. So long as you carry that, I will never truly be gone. Elira's tears fell as glowing drops, forming tiny sparks where they hit the floor. Promise you'll stay with me, Mama. Sarah smiled weakly. Always. Then she turned to Alien and nodded. Do it. The Vylorians surrounded her, their hands glowing with energy. A gentle light began to lift her from the floor. Pain filled her chest at first, then faded into warmth, a peace she hadn't felt since holding her daughter for the last time on Earth. As her body dissolved into light, Elira screamed, reaching out. Mama. Sarah's fading voice echoed softly, tender and calm. Hush, my star. I'm not gone. I'm just part of the light now. Whenever you feel warmth in your heart, that's me. And then she was gone. In the silence that followed, Elira fell to her knees, her small body glowing brighter than ever before. Alien placed a hand on her shoulder. She has not left you. Look. Before them, a new crystal pulsed gently, soft and golden. When Elira touched it, she heard her mother's voice whisper, I'm right here, sweetheart. And for the first time, Elira smiled through her tears. Because a mother's love, she realized, didn't need a body. It needed only a heart, even one made of light. Days passed in quiet light. The great city of Vyloria hummed softly as energy flowed through its crystal veins, yet inside Elira's heart there was only silence. She sat every day near the golden crystal, the one that glowed with her mother's warmth. It was said that no human had ever left such a mark on their world. The Valorians called it the heart of light. But to Elira, it was simply Mama. Every morning she came to talk to it. She would tell the crystal about her day, her lessons, her dreams. Sometimes, when she laughed, the crystal shimmered brighter. And sometimes, when she cried, a faint warmth wrapped around her, like invisible arms. Still, she missed the voice, the real one. The sound of her mother's heartbeat when she rested on her lap, the smell of her hair, the way she smiled even when she was tired. Those memories burned in her chest like sunlight she couldn't touch. Alien watched her from a distance, his eyes dim with quiet sorrow. He had seen many things across ages, but never had he seen love so strong that it defied the laws of life itself. The human woman had left behind something more powerful than any energy on Valoria, a bond that even time couldn't dissolve. One evening, as the twin moons rose above the glowing lakes, Elira placed both her hands on the crystal and whispered, Mama, I think I understand now. The crystal pulsed softly in answer, a faint golden light blooming from within. Elira closed her eyes. You didn't leave me because you were tired. You stayed because you wanted me to live. You gave everything you had, so I wouldn't be alone. A tear of light rolled down her cheek, falling onto the crystal surface. It didn't vanish. It sank in. And suddenly the air around her shimmered, a soft voice echoed, not in words but in warmth. It filled her mind like the sound of wind through trees. My little star. Elira gasped, her heart pounding. Mama? The light in the crystal grew brighter, swirling slowly. A faint image appeared, not solid but glowing like a reflection on water. Sarah's face, her smile, her eyes full of love. Elira's body trembled. You came back. I never left, Sarah's voice whispered through the light. You just had to listen, Elira. I've been here in every spark, in every breath you take. Elira reached out with shaking hands, though she knew she couldn't touch her. I miss you every second. Sarah's glow pulsed gently. And I feel you every second. You are my heartbeat now, Elira, my reason for crossing worlds. For the first time, Elira didn't cry. She smiled through her tears. I'll make you proud, Mama. I'll protect this world. Our world, like you protected me. Sarah's light shimmered warmly. That's all I ever wanted. But then Elira noticed something. The glow in the crystal was dimming. The image of her mother began to fade. Panic filled her chest. No, don't go, please, not again. Sarah's voice was soft, calm, full of endless love. You don't need me the same way anymore, my star. My light has done its part. But you will never be without me. Every time you feel warmth, every time you love, that's me. Elira pressed her forehead to the crystal. I love you, Mama. I love you too, always. The light faded slowly until only a soft golden hue remained. The world was silent again. But Elira didn't feel alone this time. Instead, she felt strong, filled with purpose. She stood, her glow brighter than ever before. Around her, the Valorians gathered, watching in awe. The light from the crystal flowed gently into Elira's chest, merging with her essence. Her body shimmered, radiant and pure. Alien stepped forward, his voice trembling with reverence. She has given you her final gift. Her essence now lives in you. Elira looked at her hands, where golden light danced like liquid fire. She felt warmth deep inside, steady and alive, her mother's love flowing through every part of her. From that moment on, Elira became known as the child of two worlds. She carried her mother's humanity within her and the Valorian light in her veins. And though Sarah's voice no longer spoke aloud, Elira could still feel her. Every heartbeat, every breath, every smile carried her spirit. Under the twin moons, she whispered to the sky, You gave me life twice, Mama. Once when you bore me, and again when you became light. And somewhere in the glowing heavens above, a soft whisper answered, unheard by others, but clear as a heartbeat in her soul. That's what mothers do, my love. We never stop saving you, even beyond worlds. Years passed on Valoria, though the stars above never aged. To Elira, time became a soft, endless melody, one she had learned to live in harmony with. She was no longer the frightened child who once clung to her human mother's hand. She had grown into something extraordinary, something neither fully human nor fully Valorian. She was a bridge between two species, between two worlds. And within her heart, her mother's warmth still glowed like an eternal flame. Everywhere Elira went, life seemed to follow. Flowers bloomed faster, the air shimmered brighter, and the Valorians whispered that she carried the living light. Some even bowed to her, believing she was a sacred being born from the love of two worlds. But Elira didn't see herself as holy. She was just a daughter keeping her mother's promise, to protect, to love, and to never let hope die. She spent her days teaching the young, human refugees who had found their way to Valoria after the wars on Earth. Yes, Earth had changed. The humans who came through the rifts were tired, wounded, and lost. They had destroyed much of their home planet, and now they looked to the stars for salvation. Elira welcomed them. She stood before them, her light gentle but steady. You're safe here, she told them. This world doesn't judge. It only gives what you give to it. So be kind, be brave, and never forget who you are. When she spoke, they listened, because there was something about her voice. Something that carried comfort like a mother's tone when the world feels too heavy. Few knew why, but every time Elira spoke, they felt calm, as if the warmth of humanity itself had found them again. One evening, after her lessons were done, Elira walked alone toward the crystal garden, the sacred place where her mother's light still pulsed faintly beneath the surface. It had grown dim over the years, but she could still feel it. The glow was no longer bright, but deep, settled in the roots of the world itself. She knelt beside it, placing her hand gently on the surface. Mama, she whispered softly, I hope I've made you proud. For a long moment there was silence. Only the wind moved, carrying the soft hum of life around her. Then a faint warmth rose from the ground, curling around her fingers like invisible threads. Elira smiled. She didn't need words anymore. She could feel her mother's answer in her heart. Always proud, my light, always. Her eyes filled with tears, not of sorrow, but of peace. She looked up at the sky, where Earth's pale star could be seen faintly, just another speck in the sea of stars. You gave me life, Mama, she whispered. Now I'll give it to others. And she did. Under Elira's guidance, the Valorians and humans began to live together. The Valorians learned compassion, something they had never understood before Sarah came. The humans in return learned balance and peace. Together they built cities of light and air, where laughter replaced fear, and every child was taught the story of the human mother who became light. They spoke her name with reverence. Sarah, the eternal flame. Generations passed, but her story never faded. Every year the people of Valoria gathered under the twin moons to celebrate the Day of Light. They told the tale of the human woman who crossed galaxies not to conquer or escape, but to save the only thing she loved, her child. During those celebrations, Elira would stand before them, glowing softly. She would tell them, "My mother was not a queen or a hero. She was just human. But her love changed worlds. And that is what makes humans so powerful. Not their strength, but their hearts." And every time she said those words, the crystal beneath her feet would pulse once. Faint, but unmistakable. It was as if Sarah herself was listening, smiling, proud of the life her daughter had built. As centuries turned into millennia, Elira's form began to fade, just as her mother's once had. But she wasn't afraid. She had lived long, loved deeply, and healed what her mother could not. One last time she visited the crystal garden. She placed her hand on it and whispered, "Mama, I'm coming home." The wind stirred gently, warm and golden, wrapping around her like arms welcoming her back. Her light shimmered brighter, lifting from the ground as her essence began to merge with the world around her. Elayan, ancient now, his glow dim, watched from afar, his eyes full of tears. "Two lights," he whispered, becoming one again. And when Elira's light finally faded into the air, the sky above Valoria burst into color, gold, silver, and soft pink, painting the heavens like the dawn of a new age. That night, every being, human and Valorian, looked up and felt it: warmth, comfort, love, a mother and daughter, united beyond space and time, shining together forever. And somewhere in that endless light, a soft voice whispered, "To every heart that dared to love, love never dies. It only changes form."